There's been a bit of a nip in the air in the mornings, which means it's soon going to be time to bring all the kids inside the house. I'm not crazy about having to do that, but that's the way it goes. Today I decided we were going to take a look at plants that have been here for 3 months. So with a tasty beverage of your choice close to hand, join me while we take a look at 8 Hoyas Then and Now. And before we begin, I want to take a moment and thank everybody who added a comment about their substrate. That was really, really interesting. I am so glad I did that. There were some things that I expected. There were some things I did not expect. There were some things that I'd never even heard of, and a couple things I read the comment and went, that's a really good idea. I'm going to try that. So anybody who took the time to comment with your substrate, I really appreciate that. That was very cool. So, as usual, the kids are all lined up over here, and let's get started with that first plant. And the first one we're checking in with today is this Hoya nicholsoniae, formerly known as Hoya. Now, this is a really interesting plant, and I'm going to read from my notes. So, Hoya nicholsoniae is native to New Caledonia, New Guinea, Queensland, Australia, Samoa, and the Solomon Islands. But the one formerly known as Hoya is native to Papua New Guinea. And Hoya was first published in 1907, and this is Latin, so I'm going to read it from my notes again. Repertorium Speciarum Novarum Regni Vegetabilis, which is translated to the Repertory of New Species of the Vegetable Kingdom. And it was published by Otto Warburg, or Warburg, I'm not sure. I have to drop him a thoughtful note as well. When this plant showed up, and I've got a picture over here, I think, or I should, it had a lot of sun stress on the leaves. They were beautiful, dark purple, super dark magenta, something like that, which meant it was getting a lot of light. And mine's under good light, but probably not as much. And the leaves have faded a bit, but it has put out a new leaf, and that's just beautiful. That's one of the original leaves here. And you can probably see that some of that sun stressing has faded. But that's gorgeous, and I'm all kinds of happy with that. The leaves are beautiful whether they're sun stressed or just plain green. And it's put out this new vine, which has some leaflets beginning to form. And there's one down here, one here. There's new growth on the tip. So yeah, this is very cool. I used to have one of these, and it did so well for me, and then all of a sudden it just died. I mean, I noticed there was something not right about it, and so I pulled it out and was taking a look at it, and I had it in a spot where I would see it every day and remember to check, and in 2 days it was gone. I was going to say it was probably operator error, but I don't know. I've heard other people talk about Hoyas just suddenly dying. Something goes awry and it's just like it's over. So I'm writing it up to that. Anyway, this one's doing very well for 3 months. New leaf, but leaflets on the way. So yeah, this is all good. I want another big plant with leaves that look like that because those puppies are just beautiful. Anyway, this came from Hoya Treasures on Etsy. And this is Hoya nicholsoniae, formerly known as Hoya. And the next one up is Hoya cutis-porcelana. And cutis-porcelana means porcelain skin. Now, cutis-porcelana is native to the Philippines, and it was found in material that had been collected on Samar and/or Biliran Islands. So it originated from one of those two. It's a very pretty leaf. Nothing. Come on, focus for Dad. There we go. Nothing to write home about, but nothing to complain about either. It's, they're nice green leaves. The reason that people love this Hoya is that the blossoms are beautiful. And to this point, the blossoms are not like any other Hoya in Hoyaland. So I'm excited. I should have a picture over here now of what it looked like when it arrived. And it's doing really well. This all seems to be new growth. There was a little bit of vine dieback, but that if you grow Hoyas, you know about vine dieback. But it's looking really good. The leaves are semi-firm. They all look healthy. So right now, we're all happy with this. I should include that this was first published in 2013, so it's a fairly new discovery, sort of. In the Journal of Nature Studies, and I want to give credit to the publishers, and I'm going to read it from my list, Wally Suarez, Jorge Sahagun, and Fernando Arrigue. So hopefully I didn't mangle anyone's name too badly. If I did, sorry, and I tried. But this is a really interesting plant. This has done very well for me. It's getting a decent amount of light. It's under the grow light. So it seems happy. I'm really pleased so far, and we'll keep you posted. I hope this one keeps going on because I want to see those blossoms in my house. This is Hoya cutis-porcelana. And next is this Hoya finlaysonii wide leaf. Now, Hoya finlaysonii is native to Thailand, Peninsular Malaysia, Sumatra, and Borneo. And on the herbarium sheet, there's a note that says Singapore, so it may have been discovered in the area of the southern end of the Malaysian peninsula, near the city of Singapore. That's probably why someone bothered to write it down. It was first published in 1834 in Contributions to the Botany of India by our friend Robert White. This plant is beautiful. That's just lovely. I mean, it's finlaysonii. That's why we love them. Yeah, this has been doing okay, and that's as far as I'm willing to go. There's a picture over here, I believe, of what it looked like when it first arrived, and it's put out maybe one new leaf. It did develop a peduncle, and I was very excited. It budded and then blasted the buds. So I haven't seen this one. I have seen finlaysonii bloom. I just haven't seen this one bloom. And this one appears to be getting a little too much light. It's developing some sun stress, and I'm really not crazy about that on this particular plant. I love the green leaves, so yeah. So in the last week, when I noticed that, I have moved it to a new location where it gets good light, and it's next to the next plant we're going to take a look at, which is another finlaysonii. But this one's doing okay. I can't say it's going great guns. It's just doing okay. And between this one and the next one, I am like, okay, I'm maxed out on finlaysonii and finlaysonii type Hoyas. There's too many others to explore. So this has been doing well. This one came from Leaf Love and Gardens on Etsy. And this is Hoya finlaysonii wide leaf. next one, as I said, is another finlaysonii. This is finlaysonii EPC 317. And EPC is the accession number, or the abbreviation, for Epiphytica gardens in Ratchaburi, Thailand. I haven't been able to find out specifically where this came from, so I'm chalking it up to coming from that particular part of Thailand, and that's why I mentioned it on the map. I should have a picture over here of what it looked like when it first arrived, and so it's done okay for me. No issues. There's some new growth here. We'll take a look at all the leaves. And they're very pretty, typical, finlaysonii type leaves. That look great. It's got new growth up here. So I'm very happy about that. It seems to have settled in with no difficulties. It came in a decent organic mix. It was nice, light, airy. It cleaned up really well for the transfer to pot, and since then, it seems to be fine. No issues. And there were 2 cuttings in the pot, so that's a good thing. So yeah, there's some new leaves. There's some new growth. We're all kinds of happy with this, and he's now sitting just off my southeast-facing window. And so I moved the other finlaysonii that we were just looking at, the wide leaf form, next to it because this guy seems to be happier there, and I want the other one to be happy too. This one came from Gardino Nursery, and this is Hoya finlaysonii EPC 317. And the next one up is my Hoya madulidii. Now, Hoya madulidii is native to the Philippines, and it was first published in 1990 in Fraterna by Dale Kloppenberg. And it may be related to Hoya ciliata, which is also known for having black blossoms. And the blossoms aren't really black, but there's such a dark shade of purple that they may as well be. And which is why I ordered this plant. I didn't know anything about its growth habits or anything else. I just saw the blossoms and wanted those in my home. The leaves, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the camera to show you just how pubescent they are. It's just incredible. And it's the top of the leaves, the underside of the leaves, the stems are pubescent, every bit of it. So it's very cool. I should now have over here a picture of what it looked like when it first arrived. It's so odd. As far as I'm concerned, it's done really well. I'm trying to figure out just how I'm going to support it. I don't think I can do a traditional tower trellis because these vines, even the newer ones, if I try and bend them, they're going to snap. And I don't want that to happen. So I think maybe some kind of ladder trellis or tower trellis that can support this. Just to give it some stability, because as you can see, it's fairly... The whole thing is flexible, but the individual vines are just not going to tolerate being bent. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to black blossoms on this plant. This one came from Gardino, and this is Hoya madulidii. Now the next one up is this Hoya mengtzeensis. Now Hoya mengtzeensis is native to south central and southeastern China and Vietnam. It was first published in 1974, and I'm going to read this, in Acta Phytotaxonomica Sinaica. And it was published by Ling Xiang and Pingdao Li. And I am very happy to have this plant in my house. I think it's very pretty. The leaves are quite interesting. Somewhat reminiscent of Sulawesiana or Hoyahead. But sadly, I don't think he's terribly happy with me. I'm not sure how much longer this one leaf is going to stick around. The others all look okay. And this one has gotten longer. So that's, kind of neat. And I'll put a picture over here of what he looked like when he showed up. But, it's been 3 months and I don't see any signs of anything new. Now, granted, these two leaves are on what looks like an old vine. So, I may lose them anyway. This other vine looks nice and green and healthy, and it did put out a new leaf, so, I'm treating it well, keeping my fingers crossed, and maybe we'll have something interesting to show you in another 3 months, but right now, I'm just trying to make him like me. So, this is from Rare Herbs Garden Nanjay on Etsy, and this is Hoya mengtzeensis. And number 7 on the list is this Hoya species UT033. Now, UT is the part of the accession number from, I want to get his name right, or try to, Utai Trisukon, who's a Thai collector who has collected a number of really interesting Hoyas. And this is one of them. So I'm guessing it comes from Thailand, but I haven't found anything that says definitively that's where he found it. Anyway, the leaves are nice enough, very pretty. That's nothing, no issues there. Pretty enough. But this is collected and sought after because of the blossoms. They're very, very pretty, which is why I ordered it. And there should be a picture. I'm going to put a picture over there now of what he looked like when he first arrived. It might even be video. I don't remember what I've got. But it's done really well. These leaves are new. This vine is new. Beautiful little bronze leaf coming in there. I'm running into my lights and everything else. So, yeah. But it's doing very well. Very pleased with it. And, for 3 months, I think it's done a decent amount of growing. Hasn't bloomed yet. No peduncles yet. But fingers crossed, because it's the blooms for this one. That's why we got it. This one came from Garden of Hayden on Etsy, and this is Hoya species UT033. next little guy up, I'm really happy about. This is Hoya species NS05-055. And it's a clone, a unique clone of Hoya annulata. Now, Hoya annulata is native to New Guinea and Queensland, Australia. But this particular species is native to the Oro province of Papua New Guinea. Now, this came as a thank you cutting from a generous seller. So I was unfamiliar with it. I didn't know anything about it. And so I thought, well, I'm always willing to give it a try. You never know. This came with just 2 little leaves, I think. And so there's a picture over here of what it looked like when it first arrived. And it sat for a little bit. And it sat, and it was, it's one of those, it's not dying, but it's not thriving. I think the transfer into PON, although it came in something fairly similar, if I remember correctly, it wants to get settled in and reestablished. And once it did, it started putting out leaves and vines. And the leaves are very neat. I really like that shape. There doesn't seem to be any splash. There doesn't seem to be anything, that most people go for. But I love the shape of the leaves. They're glossy. I don't feel any pubescence on the top or the underside. And it's going well. I'm anxious to see. I've looked online, and the blossoms are pretty enough that I would be happy with just, as it is. I think it's very cool. I think it's going to very soon need some kind of little trellis to get it going. But this is, I just like this. I think this is very cool. I'm very happy I got this. This was published in 2005 by Natalie Simonson, hence the NS05. And it came from Rare Herbs Garden NJ on Etsy. I think this is really cool. I'm very happy it's growing. There's 2 more leaves getting ready to open up, so this is very neat. This is Hoya species NS5-055. Thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me this week's end. This week's question for the comments is, what plant is on your never again list? Everybody's got one of those. I'll start off, alocasia. I only have one left. I will never buy another one. But let me know. It doesn't have to be a Hoya. Let me know in the comments below. Again, thank you for choosing to spend some time with me this weekend. Please remember to click the thumbs up like button, the subscribe button. Subscribing is free, and the notification bell. They all help the channel grow, and I do appreciate them. A lot of the products you see me use are available on my Amazon storefront, and there's a link in the description below. If you'd like to support my channel, there's a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page, or down here, there's a button with 3 dots. Click on that, and then there's a thanks button, and you can click there. And your support is very much appreciated. I'm going to post links to a couple more videos that you might find entertaining over here, and enjoy the rest of your week's end.